Most of the jobs I've been doing lately all normally revolve around tidying up leaves some way or another. So it's really nice when I can just set aside the leaves for a little while and pick out a nice little hedge like this to cut for a change. Breaks the day up nicely, and yeah, it gets me out of clearing up leaves for at least an hour or so. I've had this hedge in mind to cut and film for you for quite a while, and the main reason I wanted to show this one being cut, there's nothing special about it, it's just a laurel hedge, but the biggest reason I wanted to film it was because it is very easy for me to film and show you me cutting the top of the hedge. There's a brick wall that runs all along the front of this property, and yeah, it just becomes a nice little area for me to rest the camera, and you can see me cutting the top of the hedge. That's the biggest problem I have when filming any hedge work. I can always get you a good view from the sides and below the hedge, but I always struggle to get you a decent view from the top half, and it's normally just a view of my backside as I'm stood up the ladder, and you can't normally get to see what I'm up to at the top. So I really wanted to film this one for you, and you can get to see how I cut the top of the hedge. Cutting this hedge is about as straightforward as you can get a job. I cut it level to the brick wall that's in front of the property, and so that's always nice when you have a sort of physical guide to go along. And it's also a very nice height as well, you know, there's no ladders involved. So yeah, this is probably one of my favourite jobs to do. I can knock this hedge out very, very quickly. Probably cut it twice a year. Actually, the last time I did cut it though, I only done the top of it, I never actually done the side, so when you do see me cut the side, there is quite a lot of growth coming off of it, but that's probably over a year's worth of growth coming off the side of it. But the top part of it is, as I say, very, very simple. You'll see me passing the hedge cutter over and over the top of the hedge. That's really just to mulch up all the clippings as small as they can be. I find if I mulch them up as really small, a lot of them will disappear down through the hedge, and I always find whatever rubbish you make on this job, there's not too much, but I always like the rubbish I make to be as small as possible, so I always find going over and over again tend to mulch up the hedge clippings pretty small, and then makes them a more manageable size. Now, that being said, I know there will be some people out there that will say we need to remove all of the hedge clippings, and I know that some people will say that you need to remove as much of the hedge clippings as you can because it helps fight against the disease and that sort of thing. You know, letting these clippings fall down through the hedge could add to, like, you know, a disease building up to the hedge. I must be honest, I've never ever had a problem ever. So I'm only doing what works for me, and I say mulching the clippings up as small as possible, letting it fall through the hedge saves on tidying up time, and saves on the amount of waste obviously you have to take away. Obviously, if the waste I was knocking all the way through, if that was then all blown around the garden, then you clear it up. You know, if it's making a mess all around the garden, you clear it up. But on this job here, it's not too bad. You know, it disappears down, and you never see it again. So in the background of this video, you can see big long hedge runs down the side of the property there. that's going to be my winter work, or the start of the winter work I'll do anyway. So once all the leaves have stopped falling, once the grass doesn't need mowing anymore, that's going to be my first thing I'll get on with. I cut it probably 2 years ago. I don't think I cut it last year. In fact, I did a video on it, and it was the first year I was doing YouTube. It's called Cutting a Big Hedge Part 1 or something. That was the last time I ever cut that hedge. Last year at this property I cut a big hedge that goes down the other side of the property, and also got on to do some pressure washing. I never actually had time to do the other hedge, so this year I'm determined to get that hedge done and the other hedge done the other side, and probably the pressure washing will have to wait for another time. It all depends on the weather though, and how quickly spring can come round. So this is some experimental footage here, and this is the first time I've actually ever put the GoPro on my ear defenders. It's strapped to my ear defenders. As I say, I always struggle to get you guys a decent view while I'm cutting hedges, that sort of thing. So yeah, at the minute the camera is attached to my head. So yeah, let us know what you think of the footage. As I say, I'm always just trying to think of different things rather than just setting the camera up behind me, and I want to get you as close as to the footage as I can. So yeah, this is all from my head footage. As you can see in the distance, those trees there are still full of leaves. I'll be probably clearing up leaves at this property well up until Christmas, and yeah, they just don't seem to end. So that was why it was really nice to have this hedge to do for a little change, rather than just keep raking up all these leaves all the time. It just gets very boring. Yeah, so this is like over a year's worth of growth coming off the front, and I really wanted to get it back sort of fairly hard. I think the first time when I cut this hedge the first time this year, for some reason I never did the front of it. I just did the top, got the top under control. Can't remember the reason why I didn't do the front, to be honest, but there must have been a reason. So yeah, get it all back now, nice, back to the original, back to sort of last year's growth, and makes it easier for the years to come. As I'm getting towards the end of cutting this hedge, as you can see next to the gate there is a power box, and this gate is always having trouble. You may remember a video a while ago where I was actually locked in at this property. They've always got problems with this gate, and they are always having repair guys come out, that type of thing. And I always worry when I cut this hedge that the the guys who come in to repair it, they may have put a new cable in or something like that, so I never take it for granted that, you know, this is always going to be the same setup with the hedge. I always be very, very careful around any type of electric, you know. So what I'll tend to do is, as you can see, I am starting to cut it, and I'll lose the edge. I think, no, I've got to be more careful, so I'll go in there with the hand shears, just making sure that any of the builders that have come in, they haven't fiddled about with any of the cables, they haven't sort of rerouted any of the cables anywhere different. On this occasion, no, cables are exactly where they should be, and I don't cut through any electric, don't upset anybody or blow myself up. Now this is normally a job where you will see Juno come with me, my dog, my Labrador. She always comes with me at this place. Unfortunately, they have had builders in at this property for the last couple of months. Builders have been leaving the gates open all the time. I just can't take the risk. You know, been leaving a lot of rubbish around. I just can't take the risk of bringing Juno with me at the minute. So she does come with me to other jobs. Just at this place at the minute, she hasn't been able to come with me, unfortunately. I was a quick sneak peek at the Toro Powerplex blower that I've been lucky enough to be using lately. I'll be doing a video on that very, very shortly, probably in the next coming few days. Actually, it's all ready to go, just need to edit it up. This is my Wolf Garden rake. Clip it onto the edge of the pole there. I've used Wolf Garden for absolutely ages, and always been very, very pleased with it. So yeah, if you've got a Wolf Garden supplier, or if you ever find Wolf Garden tools in your local garden centre, don't ever be afraid to use them, because I say, me and my dad have used them for a lot of years, and they always work very, very well. They're very strong, and yeah, you'll get years worth of use out of them. The great thing about cutting all these hedges at this property is I don't have to worry about taking any of this rubbish away. This rubbish goes to the very back of the garden, and throughout January, February, I'll have constant bonfires at this place. Doesn't upset anybody. There's a big field at the back. The smoke all just disappears off over the field, and yeah, it keeps me warm through the winter months, and also is an easy way to get rid of all the burnable garden waste. This job is all done. Guys, thanks ever so much for watching. If you think I deserve it, don't forget, press the little like button, that'd be nice. Take care guys, be good, and I will see you next time.